The Hawaii Sports Radio Network on 95.1 FM and AM 760 presents Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani.
Good morning, beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den. I'm Ku'ule Agbayani, right across of Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel this and every Monday. Thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us. And once again, just a reminder, now we got to pick up the reminders in letting you guys know that if you are tuning into terrestrial, you are on your 1 week notice. Sad face, we will be departing AM 760 and 95.1 FM beginning on March 1st. But if you usually turn in normally for the live show, thank you very much. But you will not hear us anymore on your AM and FM radio. But you will still be able to hear us. We will stream live. We'll have new links up there on our website once they're all ready to go. We are in the process of even doing an app to make it even easier for you guys to find us. There's a lot of exciting things coming up. But if you are someone that only tunes in on AM and FM, please, we encourage you to follow us onto our digital-only platforms as well. Even if you have to listen on demand, like if you usually listen to us on your radio when you're on your commute, then download the podcast, listen to it, and when you're getting into your car in the afternoon, all of that stuff. So again,
this is
we'll still be here. Just not, we will have to say aloha to all of our AM and FM listeners. But nothing else, for the most part, is changing. And again, might have to go through some growing pains in the beginning as we tackle our new workflows and all of that stuff. But we will still planning on bringing you guys OIA play-by-play. We got flag football and baseball and softball coming up soon, and we're still going to cover everything editorially on our website, including surfing is entering the conversation. What for high school this upcoming months. And then we'll still get HPU. This Saturday, we will have our final HPU broadcast on terrestrial radio once again. Still continuing it on digitally only. But we will have... Well, hopefully this weather clears up by then, but we are planning to bring you HPU softball coverage between the Sharks and the Swords of Chaminade, the battle for Sand Island, as that is now where both of their home fields lie. So we will bring you the doubleheader action this Saturday. I think the first game's at noon, and then the second game to follow, which, of course, would leave us more than enough time to get to the stand for women's basketball. So there's a lot of stuff to get into today. But man, what a weekend, Paul.
What a weekend.
How are
indeed.
you doing?
I'm doing well. The men's basketball game on Saturday was one of the most memorable games that I think I've ever been to. It certainly ranks up there for me, at least in terms of my sporting time in here, or here in Hawaii. So I'm excited to talk about that. The ladies continue their ascent up the standings. I got a chance to chat with with assistant coach Jason Hill after they got back. I saw him as my wife and I went on a walk yesterday. It was real nice to catch up with him. And it's a big week for HPU basketball. There's, like you mentioned, still softball, baseball, all of that rolling on. And plus, what a weekend of Olympic sports it was as well. So a lot to get into. I'm doing well. I'm in a good mood. I feel mostly rested despite a lot more hours of staring at a screen than normal for me, which is strange to say because I do spend a lot of hours staring at a screen. I'm having a good time.
Yeah,
it's a good day. Happy Aloha Monday.
Happy Aloha Monday. Like you mentioned, just a lot of stuff that happened over the weekend. We'll get into all of it in detail throughout the show, of course. But yeah, I mean, what a time for Legends Weekend there, celebrating Les Murakami on Friday night, and then into the celebration for AC Carter on Saturday. And of course, as fate and Manoa Magic would have it, both games coming out with wins, so that's the main thing. I know baseball didn't have a great day yesterday as their Saturday game got postponed, and then they played a doubleheader yesterday. But at least they won on the night that really mattered the most out of the entire series. They had that thriller on Thursday, and then were able to win for Les Murakami and all of the other UH baseball alum in attendance. And then, as Paul mentioned, one of the best basketball games in recent memory in the stand with a packed house of over 8,000 of you guys that were in attendance for AC Carter night. There's more photos. We got a couple of photos there via our Michael Iscaro up for you on YouTube, but you can check out more photos and the stories at hawaiisportsradio.com. So yeah, just overall good vibes there in Manoa on the weekend, because again, at the end of the day, it still is about winning. And fortunately, both teams won on their respective celebratory Legends evenings. And yeah, Saturday's game for the men's basketball team we'll get into more in detail coming up in just a little bit. We'll also hear from head coach Eran Ganot and what he had to say. I am done. My computer's blocking it on the screen, but I am wearing like the white 23 shirt that was there. I was able to get one as well, so that was really cool. So I had to wear it, pay homage to AC Carter number 23. And then the Olympics wrapped up, and oh my gosh, what a game, man. Men's and women's USA hockey gold medalists, both games defeating Canada, both in overtime, golden goals all around. And there was a lot of other emotional things that happened as well. But man, what an incredible feat for USA hockey to really cap off that final day of the Winter Olympics. And man, like I said, good vibes all around, and a really incredible Olympics too. I think this is going to be memorable overall. I mean, especially the women, like they just brought home a ton of golds and a ton of medals, and all of these storylines that followed through with that as well. And some of the other countries, and just the other, it was neat, like getting to see some of the other sports, like as if cross country running wasn't hard enough. When I see highlights of cross-country skiing, I'm like, wow, this is incredible.
Yeah, I'm good without that.
Like when we talk about, like, this is the part that always kills me when they get to like the ESPYs, right? And they give out awards for like the top male and female athlete. And normally it's the most popular athlete in the bigger sports, right? Like football and basketball and stuff like that. But I always think like, okay, but if we go with the core of the word, like the best athlete, like I would always say it back then. I'm like, why isn't a hockey player nominated like every single year for the best athlete? Because what they have to do there, exerting, like there's a reason why they can only stay out there at like 2 minutes at a time, because your body gets so tired, like doing all of that stuff. And then you get hit, and then you're allowed to fight. And then it's like a whole thing. Like, and then I watch the Winter Olympics and I look at cross country skiers and like those free ski jumper people, and I'm just like, I'm blown away by like how insane. Like, I know it's not the X Games, but it feels like the X Games with some of these daredevil stuff that they do in the Winter Olympics, and how difficult a lot of these sports are. Like even speed skating. I mean, that one athlete almost got her eye taken out by the skate because they fell in the speed skating and it clipped like, I think right the bottom of her eye. Like in the replay, it looked horrible. Her eye could have like gotten stabbed by the skate. And fortunately, she's okay, I saw on social. But if there was ever an appreciation for athletes and the Winter Olympics, like it. I don't know what it was. Maybe because they started to do the right thing and put more publicity to it. I think too in the U.S. because a lot of the U.S. teams were doing a lot better, so there was a lot more push. But seeing some of these competitions between the international teams and everything, I was just like, I'm blown away. Again, the greatest athletes in the world. It was awesome to watch.
Awesome Olympic Games. I always talk about the Winter Olympics are funny because so many of the sports just kind of seem like people got bored and wanted to see what they could do, like the most absurd athletic feats that they could do. Because I mean, think about it, like curling. How do you come up with curling, right? You're just kind of bored, and then you figure out like, oh, this is kind of fun, you know, or some of the actual skiing, snowboarding, all of the, like, they'll go down the hill backwards. I'm like, who made you think? Who made you think that I should try this? Yeah. And the best part is they make it look as though it's second nature. I mean, because I sit here and I'm not I like to think of myself as like at least a relatively athletic individual in terms of like I can do sports. I watch the Winter Olympics, man. I just think to myself, I'm like, these people are unbelievable. And I will echo your sentiment in terms of their athleticism off the charts, because to me, athleticism is, yes, it's your ability to jump. Yes, it's your size. Yes, it's your strength, but it's also your flexibility, your ability to move, your agility, and all of these different things. And you see that so much in the Winter Olympics, it feels like almost more than anything else because of the absurdity, and I mean that in the best way, of their sports. It was awesome. It was really, really fun. And this is a shame, I always forget how much I enjoy the Winter Olympics until it comes back around.
Same.
I always sit here and I'm like, yeah, I'm more of a Summer Olympics guy.
Same.
Like, I don't dislike the Winter Olympics, but I just think I prefer the Summer Olympics. I don't really know if that's true or if it's just I am more familiar with the sports that are in the Summer Olympics. Therefore, I feel as though I like it more because I feel as though I have the same, if not more, genuine excitement and joy watching the Winter Olympics because I don't know as much. And I don't know, that's fun for me because this is my life. All I do is watch sports and study sports. I mean, taking some time to learn about surf life-saving now. You know? So it's fun to learn about the different sports, and the Winter Olympic Games are exactly that for me, where so many different athletic feats I didn't even know were possible, let alone sports.
And again, I don't know if I really thought of this through. Like I said, I'm kind of like you. I always penned myself as more of a Summer Olympics person, but there was something about this Winter Olympics. And again, I don't know if it was a hockey thing because I just naturally love hockey, so I gravitated towards keeping up with it. And I didn't wake up for puck drop yesterday, but I woke up when it mattered, and I did get to see the golden goal and overtime in real time, all of that stuff. I made sure to wake up, and I texted Paul them like, oh man, I went from one overtime game like just a few hours ago in the stand to like waking up and watching another thrilling overtime game where both the teams I'm rooting for were coming out victorious. But I think the thing, again, that fascinates me about the Winter Olympics and watching all the highlights, I don't think the Summer Olympics, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like they don't have as many like, how do I say this? Fear factor events.
So I think that's what I'm getting at with the whole, like, these people are absurd in what they can do.
We don't even talk about the ones that you don't get a lot of air, even just like looking at Lindsey Vonn and what happened to her and how fast these men and women go down the hill on those skis and the snowboards. And then you get to like the ones where they do try to get incredible air on these skis. And then you have the one where they are doing all the flips and then the half pipe. And there's so much, just the pure fear factor that goes into, I feel like, collectively more events in the Winter Olympics in comparison to the Summer Olympics, because either way you still have the greatest athletes in the world, but just to get over the mental hump that it would take, that you need to do in the Winter Olympics,
have the physical ability to do it.
Like, all I can think of initially is like platform diving. That's scary,
I guess. I mean, these people are going down half a mountain at 75 plus miles per hour trying to do the best trick that they can. I sit here and I think, I'm like, how does their leg not snap when they hit the force?
Or even just the leg snap when they do the ones where you got to, I don't know what it's called, but yeah.
I know.
And their legs are like this, and I'm like, my knees just hurt watching them do that.
My body is sore from the Winter Olympics, and I didn't do a single thing but sit on my couch.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was very, very fun. It also helps that obviously the U.S. had a pretty good showing.
Yeah.
So obviously you feel a little extra there. I don't know, like, all the way from skating to the skiing down the hills to hockey to whatever. Yeah, the fear factor, the physicality of winter athletics. It's very funny to think about, but it is something that makes you drawn towards it a bit more, I think.
And now the countdown begins for LA. Here we go. LA 28 is going to sneak up on us right around the corner. And I saw something about because the Winter Olympics returns to the U.S. in 2032, I want to say. And so I saw some articles about how that Olympic organization that's planning out that. We're kind of doing their research and stuff this time around in Milan. So all of that, and LA 28 is just around the corner, which is insane to think about. Anyways, we got to take a break. When we come back, we will bring it back home and we will get into some University of Hawaii men's basketball conversation and recap that overtime win by the Rainbow Warriors defeating the Gauchos. Whew, yes, is right. And now mucking up the standings even more. We'll tell you about that when we come back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ule Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel this and every single Monday. We will for sure have we'll plan for it, have a Monday. We're having a Monday live stream, a Friday live stream this Friday, kind of closing the chapter of us in this studio. So we definitely have to have a YouTube live show on Friday to say, well, it's weird because we're going to say aloha to our terrestrial listeners, but
hopefully not.
Well,
not
our YouTube
hopefully.
Listeners. Yeah. Those listening via, we encourage you to follow us on
Hopefully
our digital
you come
platforms.
with us.
Yeah, but anyways, want to get into some UH men's basketball conversation now. We'll hear from head coach Eran Ganot in just a little bit. Just some comments that he had to say after that game. But man, 78-75 overtime win for the Rainbow Warriors over UC Santa Barbara on Saturday night. Again, over 8,000 fans in attendance. You guys were wearing your whiteouts. AC Carter Knight saw his jersey get retired at halftime. Bob Nash, threw him the assist for two more points there for AC Carter in there. So it's just kind of that full circle moment because, as we know, Bob Nash is the only other men's basketball player whose jersey is also retired and hangs up there in the rafters now with the number 23. So you got 23 and 33 up there, and a bunch of representation from all eras of UH men's basketball coming out. You guys saw them at halftime, and I know there was like a pregame reception and everything like that. So the vibes were already high throughout the entire week. Again, just the entire Legends weekend. And as we mentioned at the time, baseball was coming off of their win on Les Murakami night, and then there was no baseball on Saturday. The women's basketball team had a nice win as well. And then you're like, all right, let's go, guys. And then it was stress, but because they came out with the win, it was a good stress when all of it was said and done and the vibes continued to remain high. It wasn't one of those hard fought battles, and got close. We almost got another overtime, that's for sure. And it was the whole thing. God. The funny thing was, and he was asked, I don't have this part in the post game the clip we're going to play for you guys. But my thought was that too. I was like, wait, why aren't they fouling?
They were supposed to.
Yeah, they were supposed to foul. So
they were supposed to.
I am a huge proponent of if you're up by 3 and there's seconds left and the other team has the ball, you foul and you force them to shoot free throws so that at most they can get 2 points and they can't go for the tie, all of that stuff. It's like strategic. And I've mentioned this before that, with Eran, like I've never seen him not make good coaching decisions that are super significant. So I was kind of like, oh my gosh, why aren't they fouling? But yes, confirmed they were supposed to foul. And he did mention that he's like, didn't you see me at half court? And I went back to look at the video you posted and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
EG was
it's
there.
very funny.
He was half court and he's like, foul! Like he was on the court trying to tell Zay or whoever to foul UC Santa Barbara. And luckily, Zay played great defense on a 3 and did not foul on because that would have just sent all of us over, giving them the free 3 points. But just went up, missed, Dre with the rebound. Buzzer goes off, and we escaped it. But if there was any question, because there was, and it came up in the post game, the game plan was to foul so that you would put them on the free throw line. You inbound the ball, they try to foul you. Hopefully, you make free. Again. That's like by the book what you should do when there's seconds left. And for that not to happen, for the stress to be there, but can confirm via Eran, via video evidence as well, that, okay, the game plan was to foul. So luckily, Santa Barbara didn't work out for them, that 3-point shot anyways, but I'm sure there's other people that may have been as curious as I was on why there was no foul at the end. So, and they won. And going back to the very beginning of the game, Paul, I was kind of chuckling because for a while, right, we've been kind of like, oh, Aiden Mahaney, like, he's all right. And then he's the first one to like punch Hawai'i in the mouth the first couple of times. And I'm like, I was about to text you, but the game was moving so fast. And I'm like, oh no, Paul, this is what we get. We've been like talking a little smack about how Aiden Mahaney's not that good. And then
it's not.
And then he's the one to first like punch Hawai'i in the mouth. Luckily, the Rainbow Warriors were able to get a handle on him eventually, but those first like couple of possessions and he just kind of scored relatively easily. I'm like, oh no, are we gonna let him just like walk all over us now? Not good.
Never a doubt.
But it was nice to see the guys shake off that Thursday loss, a very uncharacteristic loss. We talked about how just a very bad game for Harry Ruliadef, and now he comes out this game being like the captain he was, coming up clutch quite a few times, right? So this game, they look so much better, and they look like the team that we know them to be. And there's only so much, excuses that you can give them or reasonings to why maybe sometimes they struggle and not have, like, don't get me wrong, not having any true point guard on the team is very, very significant. Like, this is, in football terms, this is like being on your third string quarterback. Like, you can't underestimate the importance of having a true point guard out there. And with Hawai'i being down both of them and the other two guards like trying to become a point guard, I know if you don't entirely understand basketball, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. It looks like Dre and Hunter are doing just fine, which they are, but it is a significant difference when they're not a true point guard. So, and shout out to even Zay for what they've been able to do so far, stepping into those roles. But Thursday was just, a brutal game. Cal Poly was very good. They play very fast, but in general, it just was very uncharacteristic of Hawai'i. And I don't want to harp too much on Thursday, but just mainly because we've talked about it leading up to that Thursday game, Paul, that Cal Poly was on a run. They're a very, very good team. They're going to be scary in the tournament. But it was just the manner of which Hawai'i lost on Thursday. Again, they just didn't have that same fire that we're used to them having. And then Saturday, thank you for coming back and being the team that we know they can be and feeding off of the crowd, essentially. I mean, you can't disappoint the crowd. You couldn't disappoint AC Carter on AC Carter night, the alumni that were in there. It was nice to feel, and I feel like a lot of fans that don't usually go to men's basketball games, a lot of them were in attendance that night, and maybe some of them haven't been back in a while, and it was nice that everybody got to feel at least close to what it felt like when everyone talks about the glory days of Hawai'i men's basketball, that it all happened on that Saturday night, and it happened in the manner that it did. And of course, the most important thing, they came out with the win. Stressful as it was, a win is a win, and it was against a very, very tough opponent in UC Santa Barbara.
basketball gods were smiling down on them in a lot of different ways. AC Carter back in the building, or AC back in the building. Like you mentioned, with a lot of people there, an incredible environment, lifting the bows late, and that's what they really, really did need. And when I say the basketball gods were smiling on them, obviously they get a couple of plays late that help out. Harry Ruliadef, yes, he did make some big plays, but otherwise there were moments where it was kind of like, is Harry out there still? Big Fish, very similar, case and whatever. But at the end of the day, they make the big plays, and they're also rewarded because UC Irvine falls. Thank you, Tom Beattie. About time you did something.
Did something for us. Thank you very much.
But UC San Diego takes down UC Irvine, and all of a sudden there is this big logjam at the top of the Big West Conference. Hawaii back in control of their own destiny in a sense. They were rewarded for winning on AC Carter night. Crazy thought. Who would have ever seen? Awesome game, though. Really, really fun. And, you can't understate the significance of losing both of your starting guards at this point. We could sit here and we could harp on it if you want. I think people would get bored of hearing that, but it is a significant factor in why Hawaii has not necessarily been even better, which is funny to think about because they've been awesome.
Yeah. But,
and this team, their toughness, they deserve a lot of credit for it, because there were times in this game where I was like, man, this as much as I joke, like, oh, never a doubt, there were times that some doubt was starting to creep in where I'm like, I don't know if this team is going to be able to just pull it out here tonight. And they did, to their credit. Very, very much so. They deserve a lot of credit for it. A massive victory with 2 weeks left now. They are in prime position in the Big West.
Whew, it's crazy to think about. And when you talk about the guys grinding it out, because when you think about someone like Big Fish, right, he was getting tired during that game.
Collapse on the court.
Yeah, we're sitting there, we're like, is he okay? I think they need a sub. And then the game was
trying
flowing.
to figure if
he
was sick or not.
Yeah, maybe it was because remember how I talked about on Thursday, it felt like Harry was sick, and then maybe, I don't know, now it passed on to Big Fish.
We asked.
He did look very drained in that game on Saturday. Big Fish did, right?
Yeah.
He did look like he's a big man. He's going to get tired, but he did look more so than other times.
After the game, I don't want to over dramatize it, but he looked like he felt sick after the game. Like he needed not help to the locker room, but he took his time getting back to the locker room type of thing, where I'm like, I wonder if he was a little bit ill. We tried to ask EG. He didn't really say anything. He just kind of said it was like, oh, it's one of those nights, whatever. He grinded through, blah, blah, blah. So maybe not, but it did seem a little bit like he might have been sick. So, and Lord knows the Stan Sheriff Center passes around illness like it's going out of style.
Exactly.
Everybody remembers the volleyball team.
The main thing, though, is he came up clutch with free throws, and that's something Eran pointed out. It's like, maybe he didn't have the huge Big Fish moments that people have been accustomed to, but he's one of the most clutch free throw shooters, and that's the main thing that happened. He only missed one for the night, 5 for 6, and you look at the final score, mattered a lot. Every single free throw mattered. So Hawaii maybe can do a little bit better. But nonetheless, 23 of 34 from the free throw line. All around looked good. A win is a win. And again, Paul mentioned the log jam at the top of the Big West Conference. So you got Hawaii and CSUN now up there along with UC Irvine. So 3 of those teams, Hawaii is still very much, though, like Paul mentioned, in control of their own destiny. If they win out, then chances are they will be the Big West regular season winners.
Yeah, at least get a share of the pie if you win out.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go. I know we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but that's the reality, is they are very much in control of their own destiny. So CSUN Irvine up there with Hawaii, followed by UC Davis, UC Santa Barbara, Cal State Fullerton, all at 10-7. And then you still have UC San Diego at 9-7 and Cal Poly at 8-8. So there is a lot that can happen down
the
this
Big West tournament
stretch.
is going to be absurd.
It's going to be crazy. Anyways, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll let you hear from what head coach Eran Ganot had to say in the postgame on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautifulest of all the beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den, Ku'ule Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel this and every Monday morning, and a special live stream on Friday, as it will be our last YouTube live stream in our current home as we are moving once again. It's crazy. I never moved when I was growing up, and now I'm like, in the span of a few years, I just keep moving in different places. It's like hard to just settle in everything. So this is going to be a busy week moving into our new home, getting everything finalized. As a reminder, once again, that we are moving off of terrestrial radio beginning on March 1st, but you can find us on all of our digital platforms after that. So we're not going anywhere as a brand and as our team, just saying goodbye to the medium that is terrestrial radio. But our VSIN friends are also following us on streaming as well. If you don't already know where to get them on streaming, you can still tune in to us. Play-by-play will still continue. All of that stuff. We got OIA season, rest of OIA season, HBU season.
Still a lot more.
There's a lot. So we're still going to be here as we go through probably more significant changes in the summer as well, though. But anyways, closing up our UH men's basketball conversation for the day. Want to at least let you guys hear a quick snippet on a little bit of what head coach Eran Ganot had to say following that game, and mainly his thoughts on just the atmosphere and the fans that were in attendance, all of that stuff. So here it just starts with his initial statements following that massive overtime game on Saturday night. AC Carter night, Hawaii coming out on top 78-75 over UC Santa Barbara. Here's head coach Eran Ganot.
This one is one I'll never forget. And I've heard that just a lot of times. For the all things considered, I will never forget that. I heard fans say it, I heard players say it, I heard coaches say it, I heard alums say it. I know I've been saying the power of the Hawaii fan base. And number one, I cannot thank, I said in the radio, on behalf of me, my family, our kids, our alums, I cannot thank the power of the Hawaii fan base for the love and passion and emotion they showed in there. We're coming off a tough loss. Santa Barbara, first of all, thank our fans, give Santa Barbara a lot of credit. That was a heck of a game to play in, coach in, be a part of. It wasn't healthy, but it didn't matter. Just you could tell you're part of two teams that are really good, with a lot of pride, a lot of lead changes, and this eruption. You know, it's pretty calm when you're coaching because you're focused, but I was able to get a second or two to go like, well, this is a roar. And the context also of, AC this week, I started on the way here, I'm going to this reception, and I know some guys were in there, and first guy sees Bob Nash, and we were talking to the other day with our teams, like, that wasn't us the other day. Play like you love each other, because you do. And I used to say this my first year. Opposing coach once told me, hey, I just want to let you know your guys play like they love each other. And no one's ever said it that way, and I just said to him, that might be the best compliment you can give anybody, any coach. And for whatever reason, I was talking with Javon the other day, and I said, we got to tell our guys. And our guys who put a lot of pressure on themselves sometimes because they want to please. We got a lot of pleasers, but obviously the loss the other day hurt. But when I go to the reception, come in there and say, guys, we're in. The fans are in. The alums are in. They know what you're dealing with, the adversity, and so let that go. Just give it all you got. Let it out. Play with passion. Play like you love each other. I just saw the Fab Five, all of them. And they haven't played here in 50 plus years, and they're all here. And you know what happens with great teams? They talk to each other and hang out forever. And so I'm seeing guys, I'm getting, AC, some of his teammates from the 90s, 106 years of Hawaii basketball. Guys, people are proud of you. With all the challenges in the landscape of college athletics, and I've said this a lot of times, how proud I am of this group and other groups. But man, we got to enjoy and get back to work, but I won't forget that for all those reasons. I think ultimately the passion and emotion, awesome.
You always talk about your affinity for the history of the program. was it like stepping into that room when you saw that was a Division I history, right? Every team or every representative.
Pre-conference affiliation, I think it was 79-80. Post-conference affiliation, former coaches. You know, it's hard. I was getting a little emotional. It's hard not. How do you not get emotional? You know, when you hear from those guys say, "Hey, that's." I said it earlier this week. Remember, I said, you know, when I got the job, or when aunties took me in, or you know, there's some places you have bitter alums, like they're not rooting for you or something, or you know, everybody. Our legacies are about making it better than you found it. And when your time is done, support the next group like all hell. You want them to be better than you. And when I got here, you know, Bob Nash, Riley Wallace, you know, Kalia McGee I saw. You know, I saw AC on the road years ago. Phil Handy. You know, I worked for Bob Nash. I worked for Riley Wallace. I got to meet Red Rocha. I got to know Larry Little really well. I mean, I don't take that lightly. And the people who came before us gave us the luxuries we have now, and we got to do our part. So, if you guys remember when I came in there, and obviously I had to coach a game, I was like, man, I wish I could stay here with you guys forever. That's like my heaven. I could sit there and talk story forever, and like I was sitting there looking at, I got 2 minutes, I got to go back here. But I'm so appreciative for them being here and for the right reasons to honor AC, who is a superstar in every way. And again, I wish I could have been out there for a ceremony, but I'll take it in later. And very emotional week.
Very emotional week for sure. That was UH men's basketball head coach Eran Ganot. Just the initial thoughts again, just about the atmosphere and the game itself, and again, if you want the full more quotes and full feature, you know, Paul has it up there on HawaiiSportsRadio.com. But there was
a game story instead of a recap for you guys.
Game story.
Change up the
and
style.
Michael Liscaro's awesome photos as always.
Awesome, honestly, might be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has been, and I've been saying this on the air. He's been really, really cooking as of recently, and as well, we have a couple of interns who have been doing some awesome work as well. Go check out our social media if you haven't seen it yet, and go check out our website because you can see all of them. They're really, really awesome. But no, especially for this weekend, and maybe it's because I'm a nerd and I really like old stuff and legends and whatever. I really like our visual coverage from this weekend, where like the AC Carter ceremony, the Les Murakami ceremony, the pictures from those legitimately give you chicken skin. And that's really the weekend as a whole. And that's kind of what it was meant to be, because there's a lot of greatness in Hawaii athletics to celebrate. It's cool to have it in back-to-back days, you know?
By the way, I hate to be that guy, but gotta be the downer here. Just because we just saw it come across the timeline as it does pertain to baseball.
This is sad, actually.
So Stephen Tsai reporting just tweeted out that left-handed pitcher Sebastian Gonzalez will miss the season to recover from an ACL injury. So that's a bummer. We were curious as to why we haven't seen him in any action. So that is the reason that unfortunately Seabass is out, and he was phenomenal from what we saw from him last season, and we're expecting like the same, if not better, this season. So that's a huge blow for the University of Hawaii, and wish him all the best in his recovery process, and hopefully he gets back to 100% and everything goes well. But yes, on the baseball side, again, I'm sorry guys, I didn't want to be that guy. But it is significant news, especially I know we have a lot of baseball fans out there considering how awesome, again, split series against Wichita State. It's funny because our expectation for this baseball team, as it should be at this point, is so high. That you're like, I can't believe we lost 2 games yesterday. But in hindsight, when you look at splitting with a program, a historically good program in Wichita State.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
And like dropping a game last week to Gonzaga, you're like,
fine.
I guess we're doing okay.
Fine.
But unfortunately, Sebastian Gonzalez is missing the remainder of the baseball season to recover from an ACL injury, as reported by the Star Advertiser's Stephen Tsai just about 15 minutes ago. But bummer.
Yeah, kind of hard to pitch with a knee that you can't either land on or stand on.
Yeah.
Both are not exactly what you want. The good news, I will say, is that I think that clearly Hawaii has a lot of a lot of quality arms that they can rely on and lean on. I'm a big fan of Brody Martin Grudzelanek, who, as a freshman, man, think about what was Cooper Walls last year and what he was able to do. This kid has a similar frame. He throws hard. He's a competitor. Really like what you see from him. Hikili Robello he might be an ace,
good.
by the way.
Yes.
Like he might be a legitimate ace. The way that he throws, the way that he attacks the zone, you always got mags. Like you can put Isaiah Magdaleno out there in literally any role, and I'm gonna feel pretty confident about it. And then I know that he did not have as good a day yesterday as he did in the opening weekend, but Liam O'Brien, I still have a lot of confidence in as a fireballer starter, somebody who can give you 5+ innings pretty much every time that he goes out there. So I'm not necessarily worried about the depth of the pitching rotation. This gives opportunities to other guys to get their chance and show that they can be a piece on this team. And also, to be fair, at the end of the day, now maybe that means you get an extra year of Seabass, you know? Maybe now Hawaii fans get to enjoy it. Just extending how good Hawaii baseball is going to be.
Paul,
I can always put a little spin on it if you guys want. But yeah, it's obviously disappointing to lose 2 yesterday. I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to be upset about that.
Yeah.
I think they're upset about losing 2 yesterday. If we want to get into actual criticisms and whatnot, I'd love to see the offense start to actually wake up a bit and put together a bit better showings. I think that they are still looking for that at this point, and the consistency. Now, to be fair, they're going against some pretty good arms, but there were some really good arms in Big West play as well, so I would like them to figure that out. There's my quick little minute and a half baseball talk for you guys.
And there's more baseball here at Les Murakami Stadium coming up this week as well. We got men's volleyball back this week.
Rivalry week.
So we got men's volleyball in action against BYU. Baseball still in town to play Ball State. You got a lot of baseball, actually. You got this weekend. Next weekend, they're already playing a Big West opponent in Cal Poly. But this weekend, 4-game series against Ball State. Let's see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You got your Thursday through Saturday games at 6:35 p.m. and then your Sunday game, the afternoon matinee at 1:05 p.m., all at the Les. However, unfortunately, it doesn't appear, at least according to the Hawaii Athletics schedule, that none of the games, because I'm assuming the crew will be at the men's volleyball game, but none of the baseball games seem to be tabbed as on television for this weekend series against Ball State. And like I said, it's probably because they're going to be out at the men's volleyball game.
Good chance.
Versus BYU. But still a packed weekend for all that stuff. And as I mentioned too, where we have our softball coverage for HBU versus Chaminade on Saturday, but those are in the daytime. So then we'll be headed on over to Manoa later on Saturday. So it's going to be a fun and packed Saturday for the Hawaii Sports Radio crew, as it is during the football season.
I mean, you're not wrong. To be fair,
football season.
During the football season, we are pretty packed and ready to go to do everything else, and every other season, to be totally fair.
It's so funny. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back to close out hour number 1 on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den, Ku'ulei and Paul on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network and streaming live on our YouTube channel this and every Monday morning. But we will have a special YouTube on Friday, closing out this chapter of HSRN in our current home as we move into our new home throughout the week and then into next week and off of terrestrial radio. Again, we're going to pick up our reminders for all of you guys that if you only listen on terrestrial, we encourage you guys to follow us onto our digital platforms, whether listening on demand, wherever you get your podcasts, or at hawaiisportsradio.com. We are going to develop an app to make it even easier for you to access our content. And then, of course, on YouTube and all of that stuff. So it'll be, and we might start doing some more video recording stuff once our new studio gets studio looking.
Once it becomes more home than
because
just
the plan is now
house.
to make it a bit more camera friendly in terms of how it's situated, because how we are now, we've made it work as we always do with everything, but the plan is the new spot will be the camera angles will be a lot better.
Might be a little bit more for a visual platform. And to be fair, like that's kind of, I don't want to say the point of it all, but part of what the move is that we are considering the fact that might look a little bit different when we make the content. So a better camera angle could also always help things. It'll be a good time. I really do hope people continue to join us. I understand the convenience of terrestrial radio, especially as somebody who grew up listening to so much terrestrial radio, but with the ability, especially as you mentioned, with us trying to get an app up and going pretty quickly for the beautiful people to join us, I really do hope that we aren't by the wayside, because I do think not only will we continue covering stuff, but I think there is another level to still go to as we step into our digital era a little bit more. So I'm looking forward to it. I really do hope people join along with us. And I hope they have ideas, because us going digital more means that just we can try other new things too. Yeah, so,
like Caesar in here is saying, by the way, happy birthday, Caesar. I guess it's today. It says my B-Day wish is for Ku to have my idols Benny Agbayani, Shane Victorino, and Kurt Suzuki on the show one day. We need more Hawaii representation in the MLB. So yeah, maybe, you know what? Maybe my first in-studio guest, maybe that'll be kind of a fun way to bless the new studio. Maybe I can finally do the thing I've been saying and maybe have Benny Agbayani.
Cool.
And that'll be like our first in-studio video recorded for sure. Shane Victorino would be interesting, because I can probably reach out to Andy Archer, because Shane is the manager of the Coconuts now for the Savannah Banana branding of baseball, but the new team I think it's the Coconuts. I don't know. It's something like that. I'm sorry, I have to look it up. But that is where our friend Andy Archer is now. He was drafted to that team, and they've
banana balls growing.
Him and Shane have actually been doing like typical Hawaii things and trying to get there. They've been doing fun videos about like Andy's teammates, basically like, if they could say the meaning of different pidgin words like decline or.
I'm so interested. I need to look into this.
So
it's on
Andy's social, and so he's just been doing so. And then him and Shane recently did stuff where it's like, local phrases or something like that. So Shane's been up there, and so that'll be kind of fun. Like if we could maybe interview both of them. So put that on the list, because that's, if you guys haven't seen it, I know I got to look at it. I am so sorry to Andy and to the Savannah Banana. I'm so used to just saying Savannah Bananas. Yes, they have grown. I think so there's the bananas, there's the party animals, there's the firefighters.
So I knew about the party animals.
And then they like reintroduced, or they, they introduced a new team, or a couple of new teams. So it is the Loco Beach Coconuts. That's what it is.
Where are they located?
I want to say California. See, there's this video of like Andy and Shane teach pidgin slang, and they have like kids.
That, first off, hilarious. That's so funny. Second, I mean, How do we get them playing at the less?
Right. The less is still too small, unfortunately.
It's way too small. But either way, no, that's cool. I did not know that. The Loco Beach Coconuts.
Yeah, so that's the newest franchise. It was so interesting because I remember I talked to Andy about this the last time he joined the show, where he was trying to. This was before everything got announced officially, so he was trying to explain what it's like, and I was trying to ask him about the strategic planning of it, because in your traditional professional sports leagues, each team has different owners, but in this professional sports league, it's all under the same umbrella. So they added new teams.
I was going
to
to say,
Bananas.
I'm glad you said teams, because I am now seeing that it is not just the Loco Beach Coconuts, but it is also the Indianapolis Clowns.
That's what it was. Yes.
And they have the Texas Tailgaters in here. Obviously, you mentioned the firefighters, the party animals, the Savannah Bananas, and then it was introduced in 2024. The visitors served as opponents for the party animals or bananas in certain games. And then that team, I believe, is what was split into the Loco Beach Coconuts and the Indianapolis Clowns. So we just gave the beautiful people a nice little history lesson on banana ball as we learned ourselves. Also, by the way, shout out to Robert, who is also in the chat. I know we brought up Caesar before, but Robert also saying hello and saying that to just let them know whenever we have the digital platform up. So at least we'll have somebody following us along as well. So shout out Robert.
We'll have Robert. We'll have Caesar. I know we'll have our friend out there in Boise, and we'll have our moms.
I was going to say, I know my mom will listen.
That's a good start. That's a good
That's
start.
the 5 of the 1,000,005 new beautiful people listening.
So yeah, maybe Caesar. Those two are probably doable. Kurt Suzuki, he might be a little busy. If you guys forget, he's the new manager for the Los Angeles Angels. So he's probably a bit busy right now.
Still really cool, by the way.
Oh, very, very cool. So, but we'll try to keep up with if there are any media availabilities, like they post on YouTube and stuff. Well, it's the Angels, so I won't hold my breath. But
maybe.
We will definitely be following the Angels this season and see how Kurt Suzuki fares in his first year. But definitely we'll try to effort the other two into our new home for sure, Caesar. And yes, echoing what Paul said, a shout out and hello to our friend Robert all the way out in Alabama. We appreciate you for always tuning in here with us. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back for hour number 2. We'll talk a little bit more Olympics hockey and also get into what you guys, I did get the full link for the tourism and gaming working group. So I will tell you all about that and how it looks like for Hawaii could potentially legalize gaming here in Hawaii when we come back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den, hour number 2. I'm Ku'ule Agbayani alongside Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in this and every Monday live to our YouTube. We'll have a special YouTube live stream on Friday. Thank you for listening live every single weekday morning, and you have been listening live every weekday morning from 8 to 10. We definitely appreciate you, and we hope and encourage all of you, especially the ones that listen on terrestrial radio, whether it be AM 760 or 95.1 FM, to follow us on our digital-only platforms. Again, I don't know what is going to be of KGU when it comes time for it to switch over to something else, but it will not be us, and it will not be our friends on VSiN that will be making the switch on March 1st. So don't be too surprised, at least if you listen to us. If you're not regularly listening, then you're going to be in for an awakening on Monday when you can't find us. So again, we encourage you to follow us on our digital platforms. But in terms of what is on KGU, AM 760, and 95.1 FM, that will switch over on March 1st. But you can still find the Hawaii Sports Radio Network crew on our websites, on social, on our podcast platforms, and pretty soon, coming soon, the HSRN app. So we will be everywhere else, and working on some other things actually as well. So a lot of stuff that we're continuing to do, and we hope anyone that only tunes in on terrestrial does follow us onto the digital side of things as well. But as we were saying earlier, and I know Paul mentioned, we understand it. It's really convenient to just turn on your radio, especially in your car when everything's preset there, and tune in. But follow us. Come on, guys. Follow us over. We
will try and make it as easy as possible. Yes. I promise.
Hence the app development.
And we will bring it to you and make sure that we bring good content to you. Please just follow us along. I don't know. It'll be a good time. Yeah. You still get your positive Paul. You still get your Ku'ule Agbayani. You still get
you're beautiful people.
I was gonna say you still get Michael Lascaro every once in a while. You know, maybe he'll pop on or something.
Yelling at the microphone.
Gosh, I love that guy. He has me yelling at my screen all the time with these great photos. Go check them out at hawaiisportsradio.com.
hawaiisportsradio.com and our website. Shout out to Riley Guillermo, who was pretty much Michael's assistant for the last week, I think, of getting all that content at HBU and at UH. And we look forward to doing some more stuff. And yeah, we can carry on over and do more stuff digitally. All right. I want to get into, let's actually talk some hockey. Let's start off with some hockey. Go back to some Winter Olympics conversation. Also coming up in this hour, we will get to my takeaways and the overall notes from the Tourism and Gaming Working Group. They had their second hearing, as we know, last week, Thursday. I was able to get the link. They tried to gaslight me, but I think I don't know what happened, but they did have to repost it. So the live link did go private and was not working, so they sent me the new link, and that link is publicly available on the House of Representatives YouTube channel. But I'll share my takeaways and overall notes of what was presented to that group on Thursday. Again, we'll follow it very closely as we go throughout this legislative session. I will say though that I know there's a gambling bill that's currently in session right now, but I do believe that nothing in gambling will get passed until next session, because they want to use this working group and it's a joint, you have the co-chairs, one from the Senate, one from the House. So as we know, bills need to pass through both sides. So I don't think any legislation will get passed as it deals with any type of gaming here in Hawaii until next session, once the completion of this session and the working group happens and they do all their research and hear from all the presenters and all of that stuff. So let you know how that's going, again, coming up a little later. But I do want to talk a little bit more in depth, though, about some USA hockey. I know our friend Caesar in the chat is a hockey fan again, but
hockey.
USA.
I almost wore my America shirt today. Instead, I went with a New York Knicks shirt because that one I felt a little bit better.
You felt better.
I don't know. Jalen Brunson's my king. I named my cat. His middle name is Jalen. So like, I don't know. I don't know what you want from me, guys. Sorry.
I love that. We both had basketball on the brain still because I have the AC Carter 23 shirt that was given at. Like I was like, I got to wear the basketball shirt today. Like it was.
I did consider a UH basketball shirt today, but I thought you would have us covered with that, so I kind of wanted to spread our bases out. I still probably should have worn the America shirt. It's also a little bit like small. I was a little cold this morning, so it was
it would have been covered by the sweater. Anyway.
Pretty much. Either way, speaking of being cold, I'm actually never cold when I go to hockey games. You know, that's funny enough. Like in the rink.
It's not cold.
Well, it is cold considering they're playing on ice. It's colder, but it's not cold.
Yeah. I honestly don't think it gets that cold.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you're close to the ice, it maybe gets a little colder. Like, if you're, like, lower level. But I feel like mid-level and up, it feels like you're at a basketball game. It doesn't feel that much colder. But the excitement is a lot better than some of the basketball games. And boy, oh boy, USA Hockey, again, the men and women coming out as gold medalists in this Olympics. And that men's game, though, I want to talk about specifically because Canada has had the U.S.'s number this entire time. Like, just most recently last year, about a year ago, in the Four Nations face-off, as we know, the NHL tried to revamp All-Star Week, and they had the Four Nations. USA and Canada were in the, I guess, dubbed final in that, and Canada comes out on top in overtime over the U.S. Before that, there has been golden goals where it went in Canada's favor. As you know, Sidney Crosby with the golden goal as well before, and he was out actually for the last couple of games for Team Canada. But man, it was just what a game. Again, overtime. Jack Hughes coming out on top once again. The golden goal, 2-1. The USA wins. Jack Hughes was like bloodied at the end. He took a high stick during that game, so he was like just blood in the mouth.
Lost
his
some
tooth
teeth.
though, I think he had already lost that tooth. So he definitely at very least lost a fake tooth because he actually has not had that tooth for a while. Yeah. But he'd take a high stick and it was like
was
massive.
You and me
and
talking
it was like
about
bloody.
What they do dental wise, where it was like
they don't
could
really do much.
I was gonna say they have great dental. They could get it fixed, but they just kind of wait until their careers are over because it's not worth getting it fixed over and over again.
Because a lot of them, including Jack Hughes, they don't actually wear mouth guards. Like they don't wear mouth guards. It's just better for their breathe, which is so crazy to think about when you think of like how NBA players wear mouth guards, as they should. Like I'm a firm believer in wearing a mouth guard, and hockey players are just like, nah. If a puck or a stick comes to my face,
and be honest, I don't know how much a mouth guard's doing against a puck straight to the teeth.
Dude.
Maybe a stick a little bit.
A little bit.
I would imagine a little bit, but I don't know, man. That feels like it hurts either way.
But this was the first time, for those of you guys that don't follow international hockey, this was the first win, gold medal win for Team USA men's hockey since 1980. And in case that year doesn't entirely sound familiar, well, maybe you guys are familiar with the movie Miracle on Ice. That was the last time that the USA came out on top with the gold, and there was a bunch of boomers trying to like correct everyone, like, oh, that wasn't a gold medal game, blah, blah, blah. I was like, it's still a gold medal.
It's also not what the point is.
Yeah, the format was different, but the point was, it's like that was the last group that won the Olympics at that time and came out on top over, at that time, Soviet Union, all of that stuff. So 1980, you guys, it's been since USA has
I remember
won.
that game well.
Yeah, we all do. We all totally. It was like I was there watching the movie Miracle on Ice. So 1980. But yes, USA. And then like just these storylines on top of that, for those of you guys not entirely familiar, Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny Hockey, he lost his life along with his brother a couple of years ago. They were out cycling, and it was the day before his sister's wedding. They were taken out by an alleged drunk driver and lost their lives. And he had two young daughters that were in attendance at the hockey game. And he is very much remembered by this USA Hockey brotherhood and And one of the important reasons why is that he was a 7-time NHL All-Star, all-time leading U.S. scorer in international play before his passing. And so with NHL players not being able to participate in previous Olympics, this would have been his chance to be in the Olympics. So that kind of added to why, not just, like I said, not just it being a brotherhood and them being close and losing his life in a tragic way, but that he very much would have been part of this team, and Johnny Gaudreau would have. And so they had his jersey there. I mean, I was already in tears when the two teammates were skating around the rink holding the jersey, the Gaudreau jersey, and his parents were in the stands as well. And then they took the gold medal group photo at the end, and you're like, oh, okay, this is nice. And then his two teammates go out and they go out into the crowd, and then they get his two young daughters, take another photo with the daughters in there with the jersey. And I am just, this is like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm just like crying. Like, I can't.
Pure waterworks.
Right now, I'm like, oh my goodness. But it just, so all of those things that we're factoring in with, you know, Johnny Gaudreau continuing to remembered as he should be by this USA Hockey Brotherhood, and for them to do it that way because, and it was an Angels in the outfield type of game, you guys, let me tell you, because Team Canada, they were the better team in regulation. I mean, they had multiple opportunities of an open net.
5-on-3 in the second period.
Open net. I mean, there was one that you swore could have gone in either way.
Have gone in,
if
probably.
Connor Hellebuck didn't play a hell of a game. Like, Connor Hellebuck, he was definitely the player of the game in that game for Team USA.
All-time great performance.
Kind of reminded me of a little flashback to another really, really important game back in 2004. You know, the Midilani and Punahou Girls Soccer State Championship. I say that because our goalkeeper at the time, and I've said this story before, but I always bring it up because Punahou was a better team. Like, they were dominating us. Our goalkeeper, shout out Ashley Nakamoto, because she kept us in that game all the way until we went to penalty kicks, where we very much, it was 50-50. We could have won that game, right? Like, that was Team USA. Like, they, in every facet of the game, Canada had the better opportunities to put this game away, and Team USA, Connor Hellebuck coming up massive, keeping them in this game long enough for Jack Hughes to go to overtime and score the goal. Didn't go. Like, the storylines were storylining. It was just a phenomenal Sunday morning to wake up to again, and then multiple waterworks throughout the post game festivities of that gold medal match.
Yeah. Really, really special for the Gaudreau family. I retweeted it. I recommend it if you haven't gotten a chance to read it. Pat Ford had a beautiful, beautiful piece for Sports Illustrated that captured all of the emotions of that, talking about what you had just mentioned, where Johnny would have been on the team and the emotions for all of them to be able to carry his jersey along with it. It was really, really beautiful piece. It was really, really touching. It's the moment from the Olympics that I think a lot of people will remember most is afterward. Like, the goal, don't get me wrong, the goal was incredible. It was, what a moment, blah, 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 blah. When people think back, I think they will think back to the Gaudreau family being there. They will think back to, like you mentioned, the daughters coming out onto the ice, being able to celebrate together, in a sense, and this bittersweet moment where he should be there. He probably should have played some sort of heroic role.
Probably would have continued his top international scoring.
But shoulda, coulda, woulda, all of these different things, it's not the case. So it's cool for all the guys who knew him so well, who know his family so well, to still get this moment afterwards. That's the moment that I will remember from the Olympics the most likely. So it was beautiful. It was awesome. I mean, for them to follow up the women winning the gold medal as well in an incredible match. Really, really awesome Olympics for USA Hockey. And it makes me wonder now what 16 to 20 years in the future looks like for the kids who watch this group of USA Hockey, how inspiring it is for them to try and do it once again.
By the way, just to paint the picture here for some of you watching on YouTube and you missed it, there's some photos, awesome photos that were taken by those at Getty Images. That, man, it's like just kind of encompasses that day and that game. There's like a photo of that close save by Connor Hallebuck, an open net backside that just whoo. And then there you have Jack Hughes with his bloody mouth and missing teeth draped in the American flag. It is kind of a fist bump to the U.S. And then there you have Johnny Gaudreau's daughter with, I think that's Kachuk, and then he holding her onto the ice. And it was just like an overall, like I said, like just very emotional win for the men's hockey team and defeating their arch rival in Canada, who has always had their number. And then everybody getting inspired by this. And speaking of that, right, like when we think about the inspiration that comes with the Olympics, because I wish I could play it for you, but I was afraid of copyright stuff.
Probably smart.
From NBC, but Mike Tirico had like the best
the sign-off was beautiful.
I was so bummed. Like I really encourage you guys to find it on social media and watch it. I thought very much so of playing it for you guys, but I'm like, they will come after us if anything. So I'm like, but part of it, I have one of the quotes here. He basically, towards the end, he said, all the young people out there, those dreams are formed now. Go chase them. Our country loves sports. It brings us together unlike anything else. And if you didn't know that, you saw it in Team USA hockey. And then he had a bunch of other fabulous things to say. Again, I encourage you guys to follow it on social media, but I normally share clips with you guys, but NBC Olympics is very, very uptight and strict about stuff. So, but Mike Tirico, like, he's a true professional, but everything about that. I mean, I think back to when I was watching the Summer Games back in the 96 Olympics is kind of my quote unquote, my Olympics is when I was watching that and feeling inspired by specifically USA women's soccer and USA women's gymnastics. At that time, I was like, I'm like in love with both, right? Like, I'm like, I want to be a gymnast or I'm going to be a soccer player. I'm going to be the next Mia Hamm. No, none of that came to fruition. But like when you're that young and you're watching all of this stuff happen, like it's really true that a lot of these young people hopefully are inspired to be like that. And a lot of these hockey players definitely were inspired by previous Olympics. Probably not the 1981 specifically. They clearly, every hockey player, it's like a rite of passage, has to watch Miracle on Ice movie for sure. But in real time, seeing previous Olympics where USA has come up short to especially Team Canada and then all of the other really good hockey countries. But overall, man, it was just an Olympics. And yeah, Mike Tirico. I don't expect anything else.
I would give him props, but sadly he's a Syracuse alum. So the rivalry lives on in upstate New York. Apologies.
Oh, I just saw something on social media. Oh, man, I know we have to go to break, but now that I thought about it, totally sidebar from Olympics because I just saw it and you brought up Syracuse. They did Carmelo dirty, man, with the basketball center. Did you see that? So I guess Carmelo donated a bunch of money, so they made like that basketball practice facility.
I've been there actually. I played in that building.
And it said like Carmelo Anthony, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Apparently, they didn't let Carmelo know that some other big donor came, and they basically pushed Melo's name down and named it the so and so something athletics complex, Carmelo Anthony Basketball Center. And apparently he had no idea.
Well, Wild Hack is at the end of the year anyway. Don't get me started on Syracuse right now.
Okay, but now I got to go. I was going to share the Instagram clip with you, and I was like, no. They just keep doing like, anyways.
Syracuse, listen, they continue to just piddle down their leg. Ever since Boeheim turned like over 60. It's just the entire school is crumbled. Whatever. Ithaca College better.
Ithaca College. Let's go. All right. We got to go to break. When we come back, I'll get you guys caught up with the Tourism and Gaming Working Group. They're hearing that they had last week, Thursday. So they had a couple of presenters from UNLV talking about, we had Dr. Bo Bernhard that we had on the show before talking about the fun economy. And then on the flip side, you had Alan Feldman who presented about problem gaming and things to combat that and all of the research and analytics that come with it. So we'll get you caught up with that, give you the notes that you need to know on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Kulale Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Kulale Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel this and every Monday, or you can watch on demand as well. Thank you for hanging out with us on Hawaii Sports Radio. All right, we want to kind of get you guys caught up now, taking a step, not really away from sports entirely, but I know something that a lot of people in Hawaii are very curious about, whether you support it or not, is what is the future looks like here in Hawaii as it deals with gaming. And I'm talking about any form of gambling, whether it be sports betting, lottery, all of this stuff. I know it's a passionate topic for all of us here in Hawaii, especially for myself, who is pro some type of well-regulated gaming here in Hawaii. Well, there was that working group that was established last legislative session. There was a bill that was passed to establish this the Tourism and Gaming Working Group. So during this legislative session, they will regularly meet. I believe it's about once a month. And then once they are done with this session, they will kind of present their case and hopefully come up with a resolution and then introduce potentially a bill next legislative session that hopefully builds the future for legalized gaming here in Hawaii. But we're still a long ways away. This is only their second meeting that they have had here, but they are taking steps forward. And it has been very, very interesting to kind of follow along. Again, these are all public meetings. It was live last week, Thursday, and the live link had gone public, so I was like kind of bent out of shape about it. But fortunately, a shout out to the offices of co-chair Senator Linda Coit, because her staff has sent me the new link that's available now publicly via the House of Representatives YouTube channel. So you have the co-chair on the Senate side for Linda Coit, and then on the House side you have Sean Quinlan, who is the other co-chair as well. And then you have a bunch of representatives that aren't necessarily politicians. They are representatives from different areas of representation from across Hawaii as it deals with. You do have some government like representative, like we know the chairs. You have Jimmy Tokioka, who represents DBED. You have Gregor Ilagan, who is also another representative. And you have Gary Suganuma, Department of Taxation. You have someone from the Department of Health, but then you have other representatives like what we'll get into, those from UNLV that kind of presented different things. And you also have reps from Boyd Gaming, from FanDuel. You also have a representative from the Kingdom of Hawaii. So you do have, and UFC. So there is a bunch of diversity in this group. So we're not looking at like, oh, these politicians are going to try to make this decision for themselves. I know there is currently a sports betting bill right now, but like I said, I can imagine that it will not pass this session, and nothing will pass because that wouldn't make any sense. They made this group, and it would almost be a waste of time to pass something before this group has a chance to collect their findings. So I will go out on the limb and say that no sports betting bill will get passed in this session, or any gaming bill for that matter, not just sports betting, because they need to go through their findings first and then present something next leg session. But it was interesting because you had Dr. Bo Bernhard, who is from UNLV. He's a professor. He's a doctor in sociology. His family, I always get a kick saying this because it's hilarious. His family actually, he's a longtime resident of Las Vegas, which is very rare, right? A lot of it's more of a transient city. People come and go. But Dr. Bo Bernhard and his family essentially got kicked out of Texas for illegal gaming. And his great grandfather, I think, got kicked out of the state of Texas and moved them to Nevada. And the history is there. And Dr. Bo is essentially in that now. And he is a professor at UNLV, all of that stuff. He is the vice president of the foundation. It's funny because on the government website, it just lists him as the vice president of foundation at UNLV. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't,
a lame title.
That doesn't exactly talk about everything that he does. So just the gist of stuff that was presented, as he mentioned, we mentioned this last week, the tourism plus sports plus entertainment, which does include gaming and entertainment, equals the fun economy. And the fun economy essentially makes up 14% of global spending. Again, global. So there was a comparison chart where you had like pharmaceuticals was 7%. You had automobiles that was, I believe, 5%. You had Nike that was like 6%. So global spending into the economy was tourism, sports, and entertainment. And that has to do with a lot of people getting bumped up to the middle class. As we know, not a lot of people, unfortunately, or not for or whatnot, not as many people are tending to start, like, say, families and using that a lot of the fun money. The first thing that they're going to do is spend it on experiences. So a lot of before people would care a lot about possessions and material things, where a lot of young people, especially, and I would say like millennials, like a lot of us care more about experiences than your Prada bags or, like your Birkin bags. Well, one, if I ever get to the status to afford Birkin, like, man. But yeah, so a lot of extra money, the disposable income, are being spent on sporting events, on travel, on all of that stuff. So that is the first place that a lot of this type of money is going to. And that was his explanation, where it's capturing the fun economy money is going to be crucial in Hawaii, and diversifying tourism and constantly innovating yourself, right? Because if we think about it, where it comes to Hawaii and you're kind of reaching the stagnant point, is that there are a lot of other places now that are probably cheaper to travel to, like a lot of Asian countries that have nice beaches, that have nice resorts, but for a cheaper dollar. I mean, a lot of people going to Mexico too as well. Anyways,
I was going to say, I don't
sorry,
know about right
sorry,
now.
we'll take that back. But other countries that have the nice beaches that Hawaii has to offer and things like that. But Hawaii is starting to get really expensive. So other places like Las Vegas have continued to get a little makeover here and there, a little facelift. He even brought up, he's like, yeah, recently with the NFL coming into town and that being added, hockey before that, they're in the works to build baseball now. But right before baseball, he's like, we kind of have that ball that's there that has attracted new visitors. So Vegas is always reinventing themselves.
What a way to describe it. They got that ball there.
F1, they're always adding stuff. So their economy is essentially not slowing down. And despite what you might see on social media, Vegas, the visitor arrivals might be down, but the average spend is up in Las Vegas. So they are still continuing to flourish there, on top of being able to do the sports betting thing. So a lot of insight. He used Singapore as a good reference point to potentially what Hawaii can do, because Singapore, if you guys aren't aware, are traditionally very conservative. I mean, you can get thrown in prison for like spitting on the ground, essentially, for littering, right? They're very in tune and have very, very harsh punishments, very low crime, all of that stuff. So you would think a country like that would be like, oh, kind of afraid to introduce any type of gaming. But they have, and they do keep it well regulated, but they've done it because they want to continue to diversify their economy, and their GDP grew, like I think Dr. Bo Bernhard said, 3% when they added gaming. So there are ways, especially when you see it done in places like Singapore, that are very, very conservative, very tough on crime, but yet they're okay with, yeah, we'll bring in some type of gambling here to try to increase the revenue that gets generated. So it was interesting, and then something that Dr. Bo Bernhard again posts or compared, where not every place is created equal. We know that, but similarities between what Hawaii and Singapore would be. He was asked about if he had experiences working with native cultures, to which he did. Again, Dr. Bo has worked with different states, who we know there's a lot of native population in all of these states, other countries as well. So this is kind of all of the economics that drive these decisions to introduce legalized gaming in these other countries. And probably one of the biggest things that stood out to me that I've always thought, he was asked by Stanford Carr if there is any level or any type of gaming that is better or worse than the other. So like, online gaming, brick and mortar, sports betting versus lottery. Dr. Bo flat out was like, the worst is what you got now, where everything's illegal.
Yep.
And I think like the room was just like, oh, because it's true. That's the way that I have always felt. Like, if you don't have anything, people are going to continue to do it illegally. People are going to, these gambling houses are going to continue to flourish, but there's no true security or regulation or safeguards of a problem gaming and everything like that. So Dr. Bo was flat out. He's like, the worst is what you got now is you got nothing, where nothing is regulated. It's just a free for all.
It's one of those. You want me to be honest with you?
Yeah. I mean, shout out to HPD. I mean, I know they're doing what they can to shut down the illegal gaming houses and whatnot, but there's only so much they can do. And we've seen crime kind of spill out because of these places. So yeah, it was kind of it really felt like, because the answer was so fast right after Stanford Carr had asked that, he's like, the worst is what you got now. There's no form of anything. That is the worst that you could possibly do to the economy and to the people, because once again, it allows for unsafe areas that people can go into and no help, and I know we got to take a break, but no help for those that might have a problem, because it's so pushed down underground. There is no conversation and education and welcoming of people that have a problem. This is where you can get help here in Hawaii and maybe have a dedicated therapist to deal with problem gaming and to deal with these issues. We've got nothing. So you allow for people to continue their addictions and to have it done in unsafe environments. And then on the economy side, you're not collecting any taxes whatsoever off of the winnings that could be going into the economy, and some of it could be going to helping people that have addictions, and other parts can go to other things, infrastructure, education, all of that stuff. So overall, and which is why you guys know I felt like the worst is what we have, where it's just illegal. No one can get the proper help that they need for if they do have serious problems. And if those that do it, not everyone that does it illegally, but those that are doing it illegally, chances are they are the ones that need help, right? Because they aren't waiting to maybe go to Vegas. They can't wait. They have to gamble all the time, right? And sometimes more than they should. But again, there's no resources for people here in Hawaii to get the help that they need, because it's so taboo still in Hawaii, and we don't have any of these outlets that we can fund.
I don't know. It just feels like such a simple choice for me, and it feels like such an easy decision because of all of the things that you just laid out. It's already happening. And maybe people are going to think this reasoning is stupid. That's fine. That's well within their rights. But you sit here and it's already happening. It's already something that people want to do. It is something that your society, your community has already shown an appetite for. Why would you not want to benefit from it when you know, and this is something that I mean, you know it's already happening. If you legalize it, then you can benefit from it. And we've talked so much about all these different bills about, what do we want our taxes to go towards? And blah, 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 blah. With the fun economy, if you're able to tax that, what's to say that that's not part of what helps pay for whatever money you do give to UH in these bills that we're talking about? And it increases the funding for the state so that you can make a little bit more money, so you can improve these issues, so you can invest in, like you mentioned, resources for people who are the most extreme of gambling problems. It's just, to me, it seems like such a simple, we should do this. We should have regulation. It seems that's where the entire world has moved anyway, or I should say the entire country has moved, or most of the country is moving. Rather than being behind the times and kneecapping our own tourism industry, why not help an already or an industry that's already booming out here or has boomed for a long time? That only adds more reason for people to come to Hawaii and an ability for you to benefit from it if you are the local government. It's easy. It's an easy decision in my mind.
But again, I like that they're having this working group, because the first
100%.
meeting was kind of they talked about the amount of illegal gaming that was done in their first meeting. This second meeting was a good look at the future on the fun economy and, again, the economics you can get in taxing and how much money people spend towards things like tourism, entertainment, and all of that in sports. And then on the flip side, the other part of the meeting was talking about responsible gaming, the treatments and everything like that. So we're going to take a break. We'll talk a little bit more about what Alan Feldman had to say he is a former chair of the National Center for Responsible Gaming and has 30 plus years in the gaming industry as an executive. And he kind of outlined the pillars of responsible gaming and policy and what that could look like, especially for here in Hawaii. So we'll tell you about that when we come back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautiful list of all the beautiful people. Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network and streaming live on our YouTube channel as we do this and every Monday. Special YouTube live stream on Friday, as it will be the final YouTube live in our current home before we move into our new home and give you HSRN 2.0. Again, you guys will not be able to find us starting March 1st on your terrestrial radio, but we will still be here in your hearts and in your phones and television screens and all of that stuff as we are moving to all digital. So we will just be at hawaiisportsradio.com, on our social media at High Sports Radio, on our YouTube channel, and in the works for a really, really good app that we will have for you guys to make it a little easier. So only saying aloha to the AM dial and the FM dial. But other than that, we will still be here for all of you beautiful people. So we encourage you to follow us. If you are only someone that tunes in on terrestrial radio, come on over to the digital side as we will be there. And so we're talking, though, we are in school today on this Monday morning. I'm trying to get you guys caught up with everything you need to know that was discussed in the tourism and gaming working group meeting, their second meeting as a group. Again, this was a group that was established last legislative session. So I mentioned this before. I'll continue to say it. I would anticipate no legalized gaming bills to get passed in this session, because that would just be counterintuitive to why they even established this group in the first place. And as we know, the bills have to cross on both sides. This group has representation on both the Senate and House side. So, I mean, never say never, but once again, I can imagine they need to go through this working group, and the next session in 2027, we can anticipate a well-formulated bill to, it seems like, legalize some type of gaming here in Hawaii. Collectively, my takeaway from this meeting, based on the stats, we'll get into some of the problem gaming stuff that was brought up last week, Thursday, but I anticipate the most conservative and the way that it could potentially go for Hawaii is being that Stanford car, again, of Aloha Halava Development Partners that is developing NACID. I can imagine that will time up with Hawaii's first either brick and mortar sports book. I don't know if they're going to get as ambitious as a full casino, but potentially brick and mortar would be first. I don't think especially based on what was presented in the working group, will not come around the mobile side because, again, based on how sensitive and conservative Hawaii kind of has been handling gaming, I can imagine it's going to be brick and mortar first because that is what the research has said, that it attracts new revenue and yet it doesn't make it as accessible for anybody to partake in gaming, which, by the way, Paul, I meant to mention this and I'm glad we're talking about this. As we know, there's a bunch of states that have legalized sports betting and a lot that have done it on their phone, especially.
Certainly not my states who...
The U.S. states by total sports betting, again, just sports betting dollars wagered in 2025. New York, $26.33 billion dollars at the top.
We couldn't even get to 27.5 bills. What are we doing, New York?
The
rookie numbers.
The second is Illinois with only 15.65 billion. So New York. Hello, New York. And again, New York is one of the few states that do allow for mobile betting, and we know there's a lot of mobile gaming action that happens there.
Oh yeah.
So
oh yeah.
New York at the top, and Illinois a whopping over $10 billion less. And then, those Northeasterners. New Jersey is just behind Illinois with $12.23 billion.
And New Jersey's basically the size of Hawaii.
Ohio at $10.31 billion. Arizona, $9.13. PA at 8.86. Massachusetts at 8.53. And Nevada all the way down the list at number 8 with only $8.07 billion.
And in the words of my sweet mother, others are weak, as she said in the chat here on YouTube. Agreed. Yeah, get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers, guys. Golly.
Rookie numbers, man.
Golly.
Holy
I'd love
smokes.
to see where Hawaii would rank in that, man.
Oh.
I really would love to see it.
Honestly, I would love it even if we regulated it. And even, a small number like 500 million would do wonders.
Yes.
In terms of taxes but honestly, I think Hawaii would hit $1 billion.
I was going to say, I think
at least $1 billion.
I think the number starts with a B.
Yeah. That looks pretty. $1 billion in sports wagers.
And maybe I am crazy for that, but I just sit here and I'm just like,
I think it'll be $1 billion.
I think it is very easily $1 billion.
I will contribute a significant amount.
I was going to say, I'll give you a few.
with our $5, $10 parlays. Here you go, take my money.
Yeah, but I do that like once a week.
Here's my donation.
It'll add up over the 53 weeks or whatever it is. It'll be fine.
It'll be a lot of money. All right, but speaking of, there are people with problems. So one of the significant stats that stood out to me when it comes to, again, Alan Feldman, who has 30 plus years of experience in this industry of gambling and gaming, and then also specifically in gaming regulation and problem gaming. One of the stats that pointed out is that a lot of the gambling prevalence globally, and again, this is globally, it's just such a small number. 1.2% would be considered a disorder of global gaming, and then mid to severe harm, 4 to 6% of the total, and around 92% is just no harm, like just people having fun, right? Like people having fun, like how Paul and I were talking about. We're just having fun with it. So the percentage is really small when you're thinking of problem gaming. And again, these are stats. So I would always get irritated when some of the politicians here would talk about, Hawaii has this huge gambling problem. I'm like, where's the stats? You have no stats to go by except for the illegal gaming, which once again, like that doesn't mean everyone that gambles illegally here have a problem. But because it's not regulated, you have no way to actually track real statistical data where these people from UNLV that came in, they have actual data to kind of back all of this stuff up. It's a small portion that makes up problem gaming. But in reality, again, Hawaii not having anything, there is no room for education about gaming or gambling in general. So you have people that could fall into problems because there is no education at the forefront. There is no infrastructure to help people get the help that they need. And there is no understanding in total about gambling harm and what people can do. But again, this is just gambling gives you like that sensation of like I love sports betting because sometimes even if I've had tickets that I really don't cash because it's such a small win, but it's fun to play.
It's just nice to win.
Yeah, and then you're validated like I knew exactly what was going to
Yeah,
happen.
I'm a ball
knower. Let's go. Like that's the fun like that I have in sports betting and doing all of that stuff, right? Like I only bet as much as I can afford. I'm like, well, how much money should I put in on this? That'll just make me have a little bit more fun to watch these games. That's just like, that's the way that I think. And I know there's a lot of people that can go to Vegas and they can lose $5,000-$10,000. Wild to say, but I know some of you out there, and they're still like, but I had so much fun. Like there was like that lady that like blew $1 million like on slot machines, but she's like, but I had so much fun. I'm like, okay, well, and you get comps, I guess. So that's the best thing. So again, it was a really insightful thing that doing nothing essentially gives way to the harm that we see now, both mentally and physically, because we know there's a lot of crime that happens within the game rooms, illegal game rooms here. So there are different models that Hawaii can consider and different things that, yeah, you just need to be aware of, that there's like a lot of opportunities for responsible gaming, being collective with every stakeholder working together to develop these programs in the future, and just considerations for policymakers, right? Establishing and the clarity in use, encourage innovation rather than specifying or prescribing content. Include track record and history. So this is the big one for me. This is a big bullet point for me. Include track record and history of operation in multiple jurisdictions in licensing standard. That to me is huge, because that's the problem that I've had with different bills that I've tried to do the sports betting thing, is that there was no clarity or specifying who the licenses would be granted to. And I know Hawaii people, I know we get all like, oh, we're going to bring in like these big box companies, blah, blah, from the mainland. But in this situation, it is very, very important that we do, because they have the infrastructure, they have the security, they have everything established. They can't be bought right here and overlook certain things and regulations. So you're going to need like a BetMGM or ideally we would want our friend Circa to have their book here in Hawaii, but you need a big time book and company that has done this in different jurisdictions to come here to Hawaii and be able to bring their framework, so that way there is less risk of any backdoor deals happening, anyone getting, there's things that happen, right? Like we can't like turn a blind eye to it. This is a situation where you need to bring in a group that has done this for a long time, again, whether it be BetMGM, Circa. I don't know how I feel about like FanDuel and stuff yet. I don't really like their odds and stuff. I don't think the mobile betting thing should be introduced right away. I'm 100% on board with brick and mortar first, but we definitely need to make sure it's a already regulated sports book with an established reputation and all of that stuff. Like Circa Sports.
That's your call.
Selfishly, I'm just.
I was gonna say that's your call. We're
it.
friends with them, so I'm cool with that. Whatever, just bring them on in. I'll visit them.
Whew. But anyways, we'll continue to cover this. I know we got to take a quick break. We'll be back to wrap things up here on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Someone call HR.
Oh, God. And these guys think I'm going to give them the text number, the call-in number? No, not a chance. If they wanted that, they could join us on YouTube, just like our friends Caesar and Robert.
Oh, yeah, you guys. Actually, that is something that we could potentially introduce in our new revamped HSRN 2.0 is the ability to call us. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but
it will hopefully be a thing.
I will preface and I will warn everybody that if you call, I will be very... It depends. I think I'm going to, like, my WWE cue is going to come out, and if you call and you're just being redonkulous, I'm going to be like, it doesn't matter what you think.
Cut off.
You are cut off.
Oh, God. I'm excited,
it'll just kind of turn into a thing. Like, it doesn't. People might just call just so that they can be hung up on.
It'll be a good
it
time.
Doesn't matter what you think.
What we do here is always going to be fun. It's just what we do.
Yeah. But we got a text that came in. We're talking about the gaming here in Hawaii. I'm all for responsible gaming, but an addiction becomes a stat only when it is reported. Yes, but in Hawaii culture, when shame is prevalent in family circles, it may be harder in Hawaii to admit a gambling addiction. Thus, it may be harder to get a true statistic if people are ashamed to admit it. 100%. And in
totally
here,
get that.
There's no resource at all for people to do it. And one thing that Alan Feldman said, and speaking of New Jersey, he said, I would recommend don't do things like New Jersey, though, because apparently New Jersey, if you have a problem, you self-report to the casino. And so they're like, let's go past all of the things that make you addicted. They have to go to the casino or the gaming establishment. A guy or girl comes out that is obviously in, like, I guess, police type clothing, takes you to the back, fingerprints you, does all these things, makes you feel like a criminal for something that is not a criminal thing to do in a state where gaming is legal.
Awful.
So Alan Feldman was like, if there's one recommendation I can give, don't do what New Jersey does and shame people. And I 100% agree. Like, don't make people shameful in addition to what our texter said. It's already a shame to admit you have a problem. Make sure it's a welcoming space for them to go. But we'll continue to follow the story. For now, we got to go. For Paul, I'm Ku'ule. Mahalo for listening and watching. It's been Wake Up in the Den. Bye.